Hello YouTube, welcome to another Swiss Army knife workshop video. In this series I show you maintenance tricks and customization projects for your Swiss Army knife. Every week I got cooperation requests from different companies. And I would say 99% of the cases I delete them. But recently I got a cooperation request from Laserpecker and I thought, stop. Such a laser can be a door opener for many personalization and customization ideas I have. So I wrote them back and I explained that I'm basically interested in a cooperation, but I'm not a classic review influencer and I don't run an advertising channel. So my channel stays for Swiss Army knife projects and nothing else. So if I would do such a cooperation, the personalization ideas would be in the focus. And you know what? They agreed. For you it's important to know that I'm an absolutely laser engraving beginner. And I started from zero only 4 weeks ago. In this video I want to tell you what went well in the first 4 weeks and where I had struggles and lost a lot of time. And I hope that this video can be something like a shortcut on your development path, that you will have as much fun as possible on this hobby. In the first part I will tell you something about my personal learning process with a laser like this Laserpecker LP5, and in the second part we will dive into my 10 favorite customization or personalization projects you can do with such a laser on a Swiss Army knife. A bit more than 1 month ago the postman rang on my doorbell with a big package for me. The unboxing and the basic setup from this laser was actually quite easy. I live in Switzerland and here are more or less just lasers with the laser class 1 allowed for private people. That's why Laserpecker sent me the LP5 with the safety enclosure. So the first thing I had to do was to screw the laser head on the housing. This was super easy to do with 2 screws. Then I had to connect the housing with the laser head with some cables. How this works you can see on a picture on the manual. So until here I had no problems at all. After that I downloaded the Laserpecker Design Space software from the Laserpecker homepage on my Mac. So after that I can remember I had some problems with my shitty Wi-Fi network in my house because I had to connect the laser with my Mac. But this wasn't the problem of the LP5. Problem is that I have my router in the first floor in the living room and the laser in the workshop and the Mac in the office are in the basement and the distances are too long. Because I didn't have the patience and the knowledge to fix this problem at this time, I connected the laser in my Mac with a USB cable and that worked perfect. And like this I could start with the first laser engraving project in my life. I dragged a random photo of myself into the Laserpecker Design Space software and engraved it on a piece of cardboard. For that I selected cardboard on the selection for the needed materials and I worked with the proposal settings. At this day I was super happy with the result, but today I would say okay, a grey cardboard is probably not the best background for a grayscaled picture. My second project was to engrave my name in a piece of wood. For that I wrote my name on the Laserpecker Design Space software and I took again the proposal settings from the Laserpecker database. And hey, that worked well, but at the same time I realized something super important. I need an extraction solution for the smoke. Almost all material that can be lasered produce smoke or smell. This smoke or this smell you don't want to have in a room even if it's your workshop. I hadn't considered this problem before I started with lasering. So I made something like a frame with a hole on it for the chimney, which I could insert in the tilted window. So the fan in the laser head of the LP5 is not very powerful, but I would say it worked sufficient. So I told my problem to my contact person from Laserpecker, and a few days later they sent me another package, and inside was this machine. This is an air purifier. So the fan of this air purifier, which sucks off the smoke, has much more power. But even the exhaust air from this air purifier smells a little bit. That's why I still used my frame with the hole for the tilt window to blow out smoke and smell. The first days I was super happy with my laser progress. I was even a little bit euphoric because I was able to engrave aluminium, steel, cardboard, wood, even stonework, and I was able to cut cardboard or wood. What do you want more? Mostly I worked with the proposed settings from the Laserpecker database. But I realized as soon as I started to engrave expensive things like Swiss Army knives, my standards and my expectations became higher. So I wanted to achieve clean engravings. I wanted to have clean lines with a high contrast, without burning marks, without discoloration from the heat. So I started to try to optimize the laser parameters, the settings. And exactly this was the point where I lost myself in the jungle of millions of possible settings and parameters and possibilities, and I don't know, without even realizing that. So in my desperate, I called my friend Roman Cassé. Maybe you know him from some videos we made together. And I called him much too late. So because he could explain me that this phase of stagnation is normal. He went through the same struggles as he tried to engrave his logo on his knives. And he told me that he spent more than 40 hours changing parameters and stuff like this until he was happy with his logo on his knives. And Roman sent me a link from a video on the YouTube channel Laser Everything. And this video called Unreal Black Mark on Stainless Steel. And hey, this video changed everything. The link to this video you can find in the description box below. So the result with these settings was just on another level. And I realized that I have to stop. Try to find out the perfect settings for common laserable materials like aluminium, steel, stainless steel, wood and stuff like this by myself. Forget it. There are pros. They make it 1,000 times better than me. So now to my short conclusion about the first 4 weeks from my lasering career. Lasering and laser cutting is a science for itself. Even after 4 weeks experience and trying, I'm still a bloody beginner. So in my case, it was like this, that the first progress, the first success came very quick, and just a little bit crafting without high expectations, that works wonderful and super quick. But as soon you want to have perfect results, there is a hard way between good result and perfect result. Don't try to find the perfect settings by yourself. This is a waste of time, because you have at least 5 parameters where you can choose different settings. At the end you have endless options, and this is not manageable for a beginner. And that's why there are pros. There are pros on Facebook, there are pros on YouTube, and try out their settings, and I'm sure you will have the better results. At least in my case it was like this. now let's start with some engraving projects on the Celidor plastic scales. To engrave the Victorinox Celidor plastic scales is not an easy task and just possible to a certain degree. Celidor is a thermoplastic material and reacts to heat by softening, melting and building kind of bubbles instead of dissolving. This property leads to melted edges, bubbles on the surface and uneven depressions. Another problem is that the laser reacts totally different to different colors. In my experience, Swiss Army knife scales with a dark color can be engraved with a bigger contrast than Swiss Army knife scales with a bright color. Such transparent Swiss Army knife scales or white Swiss Army knife scales doesn't work at all. So black scales works the best. So here you can see some samples I made, and the difference from the contrast is obvious. In this table you can see the laser settings for the different colors, which works the best for me. This is for sure not perfect and has space for improvement, but this can be a good base for you. So, if you want to engrave your name on a Swiss Army knife scale, go to the Laserpecker design space, select the text mode, write your name, adjust the size, center it, press on preview, move the blade that the text comes to stay in the right place, adjust the focus point, close the door, stop the preview, go to the settings and start the laser. And here it is. And if you like this idea with the animal tracks, here are the motifs for back scale and front scale. And here are again the settings for the different Celidor scale colors. So now I want to show you how you can make a slot, a long hole, for such a tritium light tube or a superluminoma light tube. And if you don't have a mill, it's not so easy to make such a slot. And actually I shouldn't show you that because this is not really a laser project, but I can use the laser to mark the size of the slot, and I can make the material a little bit soft so that I can cut the slot with the blade. Now I'll show you how I do that. On the Laserpecker design space, you can choose a rectangle like this. So, and now here you can set the size. In my case, this is about 11 millimeters on 2 millimeters. So, then put it in the center like this. So, and now I make the preview. Here are my settings for this project. So now I take a scale, I put it in upside down like this, and I place it so that I don't cut such a cross rip like this. So now I have to adjust the focus point. Yes, this is good. And now I let run the laser program about 10 times. So now you can see this. These laser marks show me the path where I have to cut with the small blade of my Swiss Army knife. The material is still a bit warm and soft, and the remaining thickness of the plastic I have to cut is maybe 0.5 millimeter, so that works well. After that I take such a nail file and I bring the slot on the perfect size. So that should actually already work. Perfect, look at this. So, and as I said, this is actually not a laser project, so I just need the laser to mark the size of the long hole and to make the plastic a little bit soft that I can cut with the small blade. But be careful on this project. The next idea is to engrave the survival priorities. The rules of 5, that means first aid, shelter, fire, water and food on the aluminium liner behind the Phillips screwdriver or behind the corkscrew. Here are the laser settings for engraving in aluminium, which works the best for me. This or another text you can write in the Laserpecker Design Space software. The topic of the next 5 projects is engraving stainless steel parts. We will use the same laser settings for all stainless steel projects. This setting I learned from Alex from the YouTube channel Laser Everything. The link to the specific video you find here and in the description box below. And by the way, these settings should also work on other lasers. The only thing you have to do is to adjust the speed according to the number of watts you have. How this works shows you Alex in his video. The special thing on this method is that you set the focus point 3 millimeters above the surface where you engrave. Don't ask me why, but it works fantastic. Here you can see traditional Swiss alpine motif from Appenzell, which I very like to engrave on my blades. So in the practice, if I engrave a blade, I like to use a steel block as underlay, because like this, the heat can dissipate. Then in this case, I'm super happy that I have a second blade. This is exactly the same blade. And if I put this blade in the opposite direction, like this, then I put a magnet on, then my blade like this. Now it should be in level. Here I have to underlay a little bit, so I take a wood block. Now I think the surface of the blade should be in level. Then I look for the 2 red points. Can you see them? Here. So I try to overlay them, so, like this. And now I need the focus point 3 millimeters above the surface. That's why I make 6 steps. Because per step the table goes 0.5 millimeters down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the focus point is 3 millimeters above the surface. Like this, you get a very black and smooth engraving with a big contrast. No burning marks, no discoloration because of too much heat, no sparks are flying around. And normally one path is enough. So if you are not happy with the result after the first pass, repeat it and then it will be perfect. The text you want to engrave, for example your name or your emergency information, you can write direct in the Laserpecker Design Space software. I lasered my name already on the Phillips screwdriver or on the back spring of a Swiss Army knife tool or direct on the blade. And of course you can also engrave your name on other stainless steel parts on your Swiss Army knife. If you want to make a Damascus steel optic on your blade, here are some different patterns. Just make a screenshot from the pattern you like, import it in the Laserpecker Design Space software, and then you can print it. If you want to engrave a ruler on the side flat of the wood saw or on the tweezers, here are the motifs. Just make a screenshot, insert the screenshot in the Laserpecker Design Space software. Then you have to adjust the size that the engraved ruler shows you the right dimensions. And this I would try out on a test piece. And if this fits, you can engrave it. So the last two projects I want to show you are combined in this 91mm Swiss Army knife wood scales. Here you can see the contour from back scale and front scale. And here are the settings for the laser. The first task is to cut out the contour from back scale and front scale. I do that in 2 passes. On the first pass, the laser went around and make these center holes. But before I start with the second pass, I cover these center holes with a washer, like this, or like this. And on the second pass, the laser cut all the way through, but he don't cut through these center holes. If this is done, I turn the scales like this, and on the outside I laser engrave this wonderful pattern. Here you can see the pattern from back scale and front scale, and here you can see the settings for the laser. So my friends, that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. I hope I could inspire you to start with this wonderful hobby. And if you want to buy such a Laserpecker LP5 laser engraving machine, you find the link in the description box below. With the discount code FELIXLP, you get 5% discount on your order. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see you in 3 weeks. Ciao!